The moment all of us long way around, long way down fans have been waiting for is finally here, and the trailer for Long Way Up was just released by Apple Plus and by Harley-Davidson today, which is pretty awesome. And the trailer itself is absolutely packed with got little bits and pieces of the trip. It looks like a lot of the same things that made the first two series great and insanely rewatchable. Is all there. So we're going to just do a quick trailer breakdown and kind of walk you through what this series is going to be all about, what this third series is going to be, and try and pick up on a few things that are happening. So let's jump right in here.
I've been dreaming of doing a trip through South America for years.
We're here with world-famous actor Ewan McGregor.
But life got in the way. And now I've decided to do the trip with my best friend, Charley Boorman.
You've got to look after the relationships in your life, and if you don't, you're losing something that's very important.
All right, we're going to stop it right here. So this first section, pretty good intro. Obviously, it looks like all the same people are back. Obviously, Ewan, Charley, I believe the same crew of Russ and Alex, and of course everybody's favorite cameraman Claudio. Who knows what bike he is on or what trouble he's going to get into. But it looks like they got the same crew back, which is awesome. So that's really, really exciting. And obviously, what they're going to do is do the long way up starting in South America. So let's. I think that's what they jump into here in the next section.
We'll ride 13,000 miles from the southern tip of Argentina all the way to Los Angeles.
150 miles every day is a long way to go.
Okay, quick. Now you're seeing what the little shot there of the LiveWire and testing, but this whole last section is full of a ton of information on what exactly the trip is going to entail. So it's starting in Ushuaia, which is the southernmost city in the world at the tip of South America. If you're going to do a cruise to Antarctica, you got to get to Ushuaia because I think it's 300 miles or something like that. So it's a really cool place. So they shipped everything down there. And then it's 13,000 miles from Ushuaia to Los Angeles through South America and Central America. And if you look at the map here, it shows it shows all the countries that they're going through. There's a little bit of a discrepancy between the animation and then the actual map that Charley is showing. So, it looks like they're going through Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, and the United States, which is crazy. It's a crazy amount of countries, and that's just sticking to that west coast of South America. A couple of really interesting things that I'm curious about, having traveled in South America a little bit, is Bolivia. So Bolivia is the average elevation of Bolivia. It's crazy, and they have I forget what the plateau is called, but there's a huge high elevation plateau between Chile and Bolivia. So I'm curious, there's also the big salt flats in Bolivia. We'll get to that later. There's some other footage. I think they may hit it. That's one of the most spectacular places in the world. I would be shocked if they rode past it. Peru, also very kind of jungle and mountainy. I don't know if they're going to stop at like Machu Picchu. It's pretty touristy. They don't generally do touristy things in these in the shows. One super interesting thing is the border between Colombia and Panama. I mean, Colombia by itself is an amazing country, and all sorts of things have happened there in the last 50, 60 years. But basically the border between Panama and Costa Rica, there's no road. Like if you look it up on Google Maps, there is no road. There is no way to drive from Panama to Colombia, or vice versa. So I'm interested to see what they do. Maybe they'll just hop a boat. I'll be interested to see what they do there. Looks like they kind of roll up the coast. One of the differences between the animation and then Charley's map that he's pointing at is actually they kind of stick to the coast. In the animation, it looks like they're going up the central part of Mexico, but in the map, it states the west coast, and they actually looks like they maybe hop a ferry over to Baja and then go up, which would make a lot of sense. Baja is a super popular place to ride motorcycles. So it's pretty cool. So the next thing here, as you can see, kind of stopped on the bike. So we'll go next and kind of get into the vehicles, which I think is pretty exciting.
And if that wasn't enough of a challenge, we wanted to see if we could do it on electric motorcycles.
I think it's the future electric.
You'd be the first people to go this distance, charging as you go.
Oh my god, it's so great, isn't it?
Oh, the power's just gone.
Anytime Charlie's making faces, that's awesome. So this part is pretty cool. A lot of people, there's a lot of heat online when it was announced that they were on electric Harleys on the LiveWires. They're trying something new. Ewan is a huge EV guy, so I mean they say very clearly that he wanted to see if they could do it. They've done the trip on BMWs twice. Those bikes are more than capable. Some have argued they could have taken the new Harley adventure touring bike, the Pan America. But again, I mean, that's what that bike is built for. I'm sure it would be just fine. It would have been very cool. But for them, I think it was the added challenge. So, you're charging every 100 miles or so. The LiveWire, I think, has something like 140 miles of range in the city, and then it drops to under 100, like 95 on highway and stop and go. No idea what it is in dirt or sand. And plus the crazy elevation that is in South America and in the Andes. So that's going to be cool. And also they didn't quite show it here, but they get to it in a minute. They are using Rivian electric trucks too. So some of like Russ and Alex, I think, are both in the trucks, and those have a bigger range. And actually Rivian has released a video as well. They've got 400-mile range, and then Rivian did some charging stations through South America. So that'll help. But you got some of the footage of them like stringing cords, through windows. So I think that's going to be, them stopping in people's houses. And Charley has said, they had to stop in people's houses and, just rig up wiring to make it work a few times. So I think that's going to be cool. That kind of adds to the adventure. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, all right, let's keep going here. They're getting into some of the kind of the epic scenery that is South America.
This is us on the road, Charlie. This is us on the way, man.
I'm gonna get attacked by this dog. We'll ride through the brutal Patagonian winter.
Look at that snow. It's amazing how cold it is.
We're gonna climb to the extreme heights of the Andes and experience the real risks of high altitude.
I can't breathe.
I'm definitely getting sick, Charlie.
So again, I mean, they did this trip. They started in September, and I think they ended in December or something like that. It's fall time frame. So, and South America, obviously, Southern Hemisphere. I did a ride in Patagonia with my dad, but that was in January, which is their summer. So they kind of started in the winter and then kind of rolled into spring. So clearly, you can see in the video that they hit a fair amount of snow, which is interesting. Plus, you have the elevation of the Andes and a bunch of South America. I think the average, what is the average elevation in Chile is something like 5,000 or 6,000 feet. Same in Bolivia. There are more 20,000, like 15 to 20,000 mountain peaks in the Andes, I think, than almost anywhere in the world, maybe outside the Himalayas. It's a crazy mountainous area, which also makes it amazing. So that is definitely going to be a challenge. I think is going to make this an amazing trip. So we'll keep going here into the next section, and see what's next.
Before witnessing the endangered jungles of Central America.
To think about all of the things that might go wrong.
I think we're lost.
Is this a road? Roads might be a little... Wow, I'm falling off!
Yeah, there you go. So talking a little bit about South America, Ewan falls off, which is always good. I think somebody joked, at least this time he can't squirt gasoline in his eye. It's true. I don't know. Maybe he can shock himself. I don't know. We'll find out. There were some really cool shots there too of some more scenery. So I think that it's going to be an unbelievable trip. I mean, the thing to note here too is like he kind of went down in some sand. I mean, these are street bikes. The LiveWire is not an off-road motorcycle. It is meant for the street and particularly for the city. That's where it excels. These are not off-road bikes, and I'm interested to see what they've done to the bikes to make them work off-road. You see them a little bit, but hopefully the first episode or two will be kind of that in-depth planning that they usually do, which is super entertaining, and just to kind of seeing them bring everything together. So we'll see what they did to the bikes to make them a little bit more off-road friendly.
In the middle of the night, things just go around your brain, don't they?
I have real fear. I don't want anyone to get hurt.
They just roll around.
I'm not going to make it. Towing somebody on a bike is dangerous.
What if the bikes don't work? What if we can't charge the bikes? What if it snows tomorrow?
Again, I mean, and between kind of Ewan laying in bed shirtless, which I'm sure we'll get a lot of as usual, probably Charley doing the same. You know, again, a bunch of cool shots of the landscape. South America, Central America are amazing. It's going to be cool to see the contrast of the South American Andes and the mountain region, which then you get into kind of more the forested Peru, Colombia, still in the mountains, but very much, you know, jungle, and then into, like Ewan said, into the jungles of Central America. And it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, they show, you know, some of the snow, which could be super interesting. And then obviously, you know, they're trying to ramp up the drama a little bit. So let's see what's next.
I really enjoy the unknown of it all. Just coming across the people we come across.
Amazing, the people.
Learning about the cultures and seeing how people keep their traditions alive.
Puts you in touch with yourself in the world in a way.
So that's, I mean, obviously about the cultures of the people. That's one of the things that makes Long Way Round and Long Way Down, which is so amazing, was seeing how other people live around the world. Like Long Way Around, the whole Kazakhstan, Mongolia, that section of the trip, probably the best part about that whole trip. Then getting into the Road of Bones, just seeing how, you know, who takes a camera to Mongolia or Kazakhstan. You don't get to see that very often. So this is what this series is about: is getting out and seeing the world and seeing places and people and how they live. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be kind of the usual Charley, and that's what Charley and Ewan are really good at, is getting to know people. Like they're in Russia in Long Way Around, and they had the guy with the big machine gun walking down the stairs. They went into that mine. Who knows? I mean, they kind of roll with it, and they're the best in the business at doing that. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting. We're getting near the end here, so we'll see. They kind of start going rapid fire on what's going on here. So we'll try and slow it down and look at it a little bit.
I'm an actor.
What films have you made?
Did anybody see Star Wars? No.
I don't think so.
None of these kids have seen anything I've done.
Well, I'll stop real quick. That's funny. That kind of calls back to Long Way Down, where when they were in Tunisia and they stopped by the Star Wars sets, and Ewan was kind of standing there next to the poster with him on it, and everybody's just walking around, don't even notice that young Obi-Wan is actually there. So that's pretty funny.
Long way up, two guys lost in South America.
All right, I mean, there's a ton of stuff that they just showed there, which I think is looks like potentially they are going to be on the salt flats of Bolivia. Definitely some of the higher elevation places in probably Chile, Bolivia, and then when you get into Peru. So that they walk through quite a bit of that, which is really interesting. Let's see what else they got here. Yeah, so you got the water with the birds. That's pretty. I mean, that looks kind of like the salt flats in Bolivia. And then actually the next shot after that, they have one of the shots that's on salt flats of some kind. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the salt flats. Those are the salt flats in Bolivia. And then they have the shot of them cheering. One of them cheering. That looks like it's in London. That kind of has like a London vibe. So I don't know. Maybe that's kind of the setup to try to testing the bikes from early in the series. This next one looks like could be in the Lakes District of Chile, Argentina. There's a ton of the roads like that. That's beautiful. Could be in Central America too. Who knows? This is pure Patagonia right here from my trip there. We rode on roads like this for a good chunk of it. So it'll be interesting to see how the bikes hold up. And then this looks to me again with all the sheep. Well, this looks very Argentina, very Chile. We saw quite a bit of this when we were there. So overall, this trailer is amazing. I think that this series looks incredible. The added challenge of the electric bikes is going to be cool. So I hope you enjoy. I know I will. I cannot wait for September 18th.